For joining us for this edition of Storm Watch, sponsored by Rayovac Maximum. We're also going to take a look at the tropics, and that's where we'll start, as we still have a tropical storm out there in the Atlantic. And this is Tropical Storm Arlene. The A obviously giving you the good clue that it's our first tropical storm of the Atlantic season. Well, Arlene is centered at 29.3 north, 59.6 west, about 375 miles to the southeast of Bermuda, right there. Sustained winds of 50 miles per hour. That has come down slightly for the day on Sunday, and it's moving to the west at 5 miles per hour. Estimated central pressure 1,009 millibars. So this has shown a little bit of weakening. It's been undergoing some shear, and you can actually see how some of these clouds are being sheared off to the east. It's actually bumping up against those shearing winds, and it really hasn't made too much of a westward progression, not that much during the day. Now, the interesting thing to note is that this time last night we were looking at the center of circulation right in the middle of that central dense overcast, an indication it was really getting very well organized, and it did in fact go up in intensity for the day on Sunday. But because it underwent this shear, the winds have been dropped just a bit, and the center of circulation actually on the western edge of that convection or thunderstorm activity, so it just has not really had a good day here on Sunday. Now, the good news is that we don't see this strengthening during the overnight. It could still strengthen, but during the overnight it's going to hold its own. If you are watching from Bermuda, you might want to kind of keep an eye on this, because eventually this may start to work its way to the northwest. So if you're watching from Bermuda, keep an eye on it. And if you're vacationing in Bermuda right now, keep in mind on this, that it's going to start propagating that heavy surf out by Monday. So if you're out in the south-facing or southeast-facing beaches, you could start to see some 8 and 12-foot waves coming at you. So the surf is going to be up a bit around Bermuda, and certainly kind of monitor this along with us as we head through the next few days. But you can see what a great distance this is from the East Coast. Actually, what a great distance this is from the East Coast. Got another area, a little flare-up of convection right here. And a little swirl in the clouds. This is our upper level low that's going to lift on out. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a more favored zone. Typically in June, this is the region that's more favorable for development. There's an upper level low centered right about here, and some convection to the east of it where we have a surface trough, not a closed area of low pressure, but just a trough. So we are finding some thunderstorms in this region. We'll have to continue to monitor that, simply put, because the water temperatures are warm, and climatologically that's a favorite area for development. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on things, but nothing organized at this time. And again, north of South America, a wave here, not too much to talk about. It's a little bit too far south, and heading out into the Pacific, we'll be keeping an eye on this region. Haven't had any development here yet, but we could find something as we head into the next few days. We go back to the lower 48, and we're going to find showers and thunderstorms lining up along our stationary front. As we head through the overnight, still the potential for some gusty winds with some of these storms. There's a broader view of some of the thunderstorms. We'll take you up toward the Great Lakes. No severe thunderstorm warnings in effect at this time. Earlier into Montcalm County, we had a severe thunderstorm warning, but that particular cell has weakened as it moved out of Kent County. Detroit, you've seen some rain. Toledo's seen it as well, around Sandusky and Port Huron. Around Huron, Ohio, actually, you're going to find some more of that rain along the Ohio Turnpike. And a lot of our thunderstorm activity really dying out. But boy, did it put down a lot of rain, and this is the second day in a row for you around Detroit. Last night seeing up to 5 inches locally in some spots, and 2 to 3 in some spots since 8 a.m. this morning. So it has been a very, very active day in the Motor City as far as the rain is concerned, and the thunderstorms. Wind damage in areas like Toledo and Dayton also during the day on Sunday. Area of low pressure off the coast here is going to continue to spin a few showers around, keep a few clouds, and temperatures a little bit cooler. And then we go into the southeast, and we'll be watching southeastern Texas. Development of thunderstorms here could mean the potential for flooding if they're slow moving. So flood watches have been established for you heading on into your Monday. Finally, there's a look at your precipitation forecast and your Monday morning forecast. Some of you will have a wet commute for Monday morning. We'll be right back.
Coming up on Weather Center, it was a rainy Sunday. From the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast. Is sunshine in store for your work week? Details ahead.
This program was sponsored by Rayovac Maximum Alkaline Batteries. Maximum power, maximum value.
Rayovac has the first alkaline battery that can be recharged, so its power lasts and lasts, and that can save you hundreds of dollars. So this Father's Day, instead of giving Dad something he'll never use, give him something he'll use over and over. Rayovac Rechargeable Alkaline. Look for special savings on Rayovac chargers at these and other fine retailers.
10 before the hour on this Monday morning. Thanks for tuning in. This Storm Watch sponsored by Rayovac. We'll get to the latest on the first tropical storm of the season in just a moment. That's Tropical Storm Arlene. First, though, the water vapor loop and a look at the main weather features across the lower 48. One is a potent cold front swinging through the Great Lakes. Ahead of it, showers and storms, some of them heavy. There's upper level low pressure in West Texas. That may be enhancing more thunderstorm activity today. There's weakening low pressure, eastern seaboard, not a lot of rain with it, but as I'll show you, some of you will be getting rain early on this Monday over Long Island, east of New York City, and also southern sections of New England. Meanwhile, cool high pressure is dropping down through the center of the nation. It's in the 30s right now in northern Minnesota, and tonight there may be frost even here in mid-June over northern sections of Minnesota and northern sections of Wisconsin with this cool high-pressure system. Now, this is our evening forecast map. Notice the storms shift into Pittsburgh and Syracuse and maybe as far east as New York, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. Southward Houston and Huntsville and Chattanooga, thunderstorms are in your forecast. Any storms that develop, by the way, along this front will have plenty of atmospheric moisture to work with. So in other words, they may be heavy rain producers with a couple of inches of precipitation in a very short period of time. No organized severe weather threat in the east, although anywhere near the orange shaded or in the orange shaded zone, isolated severe storms are possible. The greatest threat for a significant severe weather outbreak is out here in Colorado, Wyoming, and western Nebraska, where we have northwest winds aloft, southeast winds at the surface that will promote rotating thunderstorms, supercell type. They could be tornadic, but an even better chance is excessive hail and heavy rain producing thunderstorms through this region, and some with damaging straight line winds too. National radar shows the severe weather threat region quiet at the moment, but very fast developing thunderstorms are expected this afternoon and this evening. Here's the upper disturbance that'll drop south and act as a trigger mechanism. Showers and storms, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, a few over Texas, a couple here in the east. Well, let's say over the Delaware Valley, we have a little bit of light rain now near Allentown, Bethlehem, north of Philadelphia. A few thunder showers now approaching the south coast of Long Island, and a few more beginning to move in Narragansett Bay. They may affect Providence as the morning progresses. Lots of wet weather through Ohio and Kentucky, and showers and thunder showers are moving towards western Pennsylvania. Dayton and Columbus, you have rain. Cincinnati, there's heavy rain down in Kentucky, expected to continue through about midday with some clearing this afternoon. There's heavy rain in southeast lower Michigan, moving into Monroe and up here in Oakland and Macomb counties north of Detroit, while Chicago is seeing the last of the showers move through By this afternoon in the Windy City, the wind shifts, the humidity drops, blue sky returns, and it should be a very pleasant afternoon and evening, not only in Chicago, but in Milwaukee and Madison and Oshkosh, as well as Des Moines and Cedar Rapids as the cooler, drier air swings in. Heaviest precipitation today in the east with a very moisture-laden atmosphere. Cool in the northern plains, warm in the south, 74 right now in Memphis, Tennessee. Dr. Gray's forecast for this season, 14 named storms, as many as 4 major hurricanes, Category 3 or stronger. The June hotspots, climatologically favored regions, Western Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, and since 1886, 61 named storms have developed. Dennis is on the list, Cindy too, Brett as well, and Arlene, which we have this morning. It's Tropical Storm Arlene, 340 miles southeast of Bermuda, top winds 50. Moving to the west at 6. Now, we do have a little shearing in the atmosphere, pushing the thunderstorms east of the center of circulation. With that in mind, there has been some slight weakening. Now, over the next 24 to 48 hours, the upper winds may lighten again, and that may promote strengthening one more time, and it's still possible that Arlene could attain minimal hurricane strength by midweek. We'll keep you posted. Other than that, cold upper level low pressure here and also in the Gulf of Mexico. That's the latest on the tropics. Stay tuned for Weather Center.
We keep you ahead of the storm. The Weather Channel team monitors, tracks, analyzes, keeping you prepared. That's what we do.
The Weather Channel, keeping you ahead of the storm.
This program was sponsored by Rayovac Maximum Alkaline Batteries. Maximum power, maximum value.
Rayovac has the first alkaline battery that can be recharged, so its power lasts and lasts, and that can save you hundreds of dollars. So this Father's Day, instead of giving Dad something he'll never use, give him something he'll use over and over. Rayovac Rechargeable Alkaline. Look for special savings on Rayovac chargers at these and other fine retailers.
There's a CD player, flip and fold seats, and cup holders all around. It's nice. You know, on a test drive, it's usually the customer who drives the van.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at the Weather Channel for Storm Watch and the Tropical Update. I'm Marshall Seas. It's 10 minutes before the top of the hour. Heather Teschman talking about this about every half an hour. New updates on Tropical Storm Arlene still churning out in the Atlantic. Let's look at the latest coordinates for Tropical Storm Arlene. 29.4 north, and it is at 60.7 west. That is the center of circulation. That puts it about 315 miles southeast of Bermuda. Its winds at 50 miles per hour, down a little bit from yesterday. Excuse me, moving west at about 6 miles per hour. Barometric pressure 29.80 and 1,000. Some 6 to 10 foot swells from Tropical Storm Arlene. The Tropical Storm Arlene fired up, at least its convection did overnight, and it's been pretty steady for much of the morning hours. But the center of circulation is not underneath the convection. Center of circulation is actually to the west of that convection. Here's a close-up picture for you. This is the infrared. Shows you the colder, higher cloud tops and the center of circulation out here. And that shows up pretty well on the visible satellite imagery. As you can see, the circulation out here to the west of the convection. that generally means no strengthening is going on. So we've got 50 knot winds right now, 50 knot or so, let's say, and the island of Bermuda under a tropical storm watch. This has been encountering a westerly shear environment over the last 24 hours or so. That's not going to change quickly, but this trough over the lower 48 is going to head to the east, and that's going to kick this low pressure that's been sitting over the coast, the southeast coast or the mid-Atlantic coast, that's going to be kicked to the northeast. And then when a trough moves across the area, out ahead of it, generally we get a ridge of high pressure that builds. And of course that's conducive to tropical storm formation and for further strengthening. But it looks like that should be short-lived right now. So this is forecast by the National Hurricane Center to not strengthen a great deal over the next 72 hours. And after 72 hours may encounter some very strong northerly shear and then head into colder waters, which would then which is then where it would meet its demise. But in the meantime, it is forecast to move to the west, then to the northwest, then to the north, which could carry it close to Bermuda. We could see some strong winds, and that is the reason the tropical storm watch has been issued. Now we have a tropical wave out here toward Cuba. That's going to be headed across the Florida Straits tomorrow. That means South Florida could see heavier downpours tomorrow than what you've seen over the last couple of days, and they've been heavy over the last couple of days. We have low pressure in the Gulf of Mexico, cold core low, not tropical in nature. If these stick around for a long time, they could turn tropical, but it doesn't look like that'll happen. This trough will preclude that from happening as it progresses to the east over the next 36 to 48 hours. Here's your satellite imagery. A lot of moisture from the Ohio River Valley to the south, and this is where we expect the thunderstorms to develop today. These are going to drop very heavy amounts of rain also. Slow moving to the south, faster moving to the north, so we don't expect the totals to be as huge to the north as they will be to the south. You can see them beginning to be on the increase in Alabama and Mississippi. Pittsburgh got rain heading right through the area over the next couple of hours. Could be a rough lunch hour, late lunch hour anyway. It is for Cleveland, where we've got rain that is falling. Fell in Dayton too. It's been falling southward toward Nashville, Tennessee, and another line developing just to the west of Chattanooga. We'll be back. Weather Center continues.
Wet weather from the Great Lakes to Texas could bring floods to some areas. Could your neighborhood be one of them? Your updates, plus the latest on Tropical Storm Arlene, just ahead on Weather Center.
This program was sponsored by the Everstart battery. All the cold cranking power your truck, car, boat, or mower will ever need. Available at Walmart.
Well, I live out here on a little old farm. I got a pickup, 2 tractors, a mower, and a little old boat. Everstart battery in every one of them. One in that old pickup's been in there over 4 years. Starts right up every morning.
Everstart. All the cold cranking power you'll ever need.
Don't matter if it's 100 degrees or 0 outside. Starts every time.
Everstart. The name says it all.
Everything I got come from Walmart, except my wife and the milk cow. And if they had a place, I'd put a battery on them.
It is time for Storm Watch. We do have some storms around the D.C. area and Denver we're going to talk about. But first, let's talk about our tropical update. We do have our first named storm of the season, Tropical Storm Arlene, as of 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It's currently located at 30 north, 61 west, 275 miles now to the southeast of the island of Bermuda, which is this island right here. Currently, winds are sustained at 50 miles per hour. You could see some stronger gusts as well, and continues to move now towards the northwest at 6 miles per hour. The central estimated pressure is 29.8 inches, around 10,009 millibars. Currently, because it's so close to the island of Bermuda, they have issued some tropical storm watches in effect for the island. So if you have travel plans to or from the island, you definitely want to bear that in mind over the next couple of days here. The tropical storm will get a little bit closer as it slowly drifts on towards the northwest at around 6 miles per hour. Here's our first visible satellite loop. The sun is setting. This is Bermuda here, so you can get a sense of how close the storm is actually to the island. The center of circulation is right about here. We're starting to lose the sun here on the eastern seaboard, so we'll switch to the colorized infrared. Here's the center of circulation, but you see the strongest convection is just to the east of the center, and that is not totally favorable in terms of having this storm continue to strengthen. Perhaps some slight strengthening is possible, but again, with the center over here and the deep convection just to the east of that center, it's not the best. It's not totally symmetrical. We need that to really strengthen this storm and get it larger, but we're not hoping this thing even strengthens at all, because again, it's so close to the island of Bermuda at this time. In relation to mainland U.S., here's Arlene here. The U.S. over 1,000 miles away, so not a threat at all to us in any immediate or near future. Again, these are the Bahama Islands, so the only immediate threat continues to be Bermuda. I keep losing it here, but it's somewhere in this location, currently just under 300 miles to the east-southeast of the area. Overall, the tropics now continue to be quiet. Here's the Western Caribbean, where typically this area should be favorable here in June. The Western Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. Overall, things are generally quiet. A little weak wave moving on through here, but no formation is expected. Also, off the north coast of South America, the Leeward Islands here, the Windward Islands, I should say. Again, not a whole lot of formation. Also, off the coast of Africa, things are generally quiet. This band of cloudiness is what we call the Intertropical Convergence Zone. Perhaps you remember that from your Geography 1 class. In the Pacific, again, here's the ITCZ. Not a whole lot of activity around it, so again, the tropics remain quiet. Back to the lower 48, we do have a cold front pushing on towards the east, bringing some severe weather now to the Washington, D.C. area. Also, some strong thunderstorms now continue to fire in the central Rockies. And in terms of your severe weather, we could see strong to severe storms continue here in the plains and into the Rockies as well. Because of that, we do have now a new watch box in effect. This is the old one, still in effect for Colorado, including Denver and Boulder to the north, in parts of Wyoming, Nebraska, and South Dakota as well. Our first stop on the radar into Denver, we still have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for these counties, Morgan and Weld in Colorado. Also, strong thunderstorms continue to roll on through D.C. Watch out in Prince George's County. You are still under a severe thunderstorm warning.
The system that brought stormy weather to the Midwest has moved east. Find out who's in line for rain, plus the weather where you are on Weather Center after your local forecast.
Everybody's doing it. Catch the wave. It's gonna take you.